Hi everybody, we will do this nice speaker that you can see on the screen, and we will do the modeling, the texturing and the lighting, but it will be a short tutorial, so it will not take too much time. Okay, we are in Blender, so we can change the units. So I go to Scene, Units, and I go to Length, and I change to centimeters. After, we can rename the cube to Speaker. We can change the dimension, so I press N, and I have some dimension that I've checked on the website. So if you do a modeling of a product of an object, please refer to the website of the reference that you've got to have the real dimension. So we can put 326 millimeter here. We can put for the Y 244 millimeter, and for the Z we can put 394 millimeter, and we have the correct dimension for the speaker. After, I go to the right view, so I press 3, and I will do a drag and drop of the reference image. So I will do a drag and drop of the front of the speaker. I press S to scale like this. And the goal, so I put here, it's just to move like this and to have the same dimension. This is not exactly the same perspective, but it's okay just to have an idea. We will add a circle, so I press Shift A, Mesh Circle. I change World to View. I change Field Type to Angle, like this. And after, I press S to scale a little bit. Okay, so we can move here. So I press S to scale like this, and I press S to scale. Okay, this is the first circle, and we need another one. To do that, I go to the speaker. Normally it's on the center, so we can press Shift S cursor to select it to be sure, and after I press Shift A, Mesh Circle, I will change to the view, and then it's okay, so I press S like this. I press GZ to have the same axis like this. I press S to scale to have the correct size like this. And now we have the two circles, as you can see. We can go to the one, and we can take the two circles. So I take this one and this one. I can press GX to move here. We will apply an extrusion on this, so I will go here and I will apply a solidifier with a 3, for example. We can go like this to see we have a little bit of depth here, so this is okay. Maybe we can put more just to be sure that it will be in contact. I will do exactly the same here. So generate, solidify, 5. Okay. So now we can display it. We can go here, and it must be in contact. So I select the two circles. I press G, X. After, I select the speaker. I go to Add Modifier, Generate, Boolean. I check the first circle here, and we can do a difference. I will apply that, so I click here, and I will apply. I can hide the circle to see what we've got. We can change the mode to the normal mode like this. Okay, it's perfect. And now we can do the same below. So I go here, I press add modifier, generate, boolean, and we can add the second. We can apply, and we can remove the second circle. We can remove the both, delete, because we don't need that. So I press the both. I delete the both, like this. I will just take the speaker. Okay. As you can see, I go to the tab. Okay. I go to the selection mode. So I press here, I press Alt to have this nice selection. And after we will do some extrusion, scale, and inset. So the first thing I will do, it's an inset. So I press E. I will do an inset inside. Okay. And we can do an extrusion on the Z like this. After I go back to the right view, I press E to do an inset again. So I press S, it will be more easy. And I can press S to the Y-axis like this. Okay. And after I will do an extrusion. Inside, I press 3, I press S to do another scale. I press E. We can do an extrusion outside like this. I press S and Y to make a circle. And after I can do an inset and an extrusion inside. And the last step, I will do an extrusion outside like this. Okay. So I select all the circle here inside. Okay. I press 3 and we can do a small inset with E. And we can do an extrusion outside like this. I press 3, I press E. To have another inset, I press S with the Y axis to give the circle again. So I press E inside like this. I press 3, I press S. Okay. After I press E again, I press 3 and I press S like this. So you see we have the stuff like here, and I will do another extrusion. So I will do E, S, Y to have the circle. Okay. I can do a little bit G and I can move that to the back. So in the x-axis like this. Yes. Okay, and what we need to do also is to take all the segment here. I will do select loop edge rings and I'm going to do a Ctrl R like this. Okay, with Ctrl, okay, I click, and after we can move G to the X like this. to give a little bit more depth on that, and I go here, I press extrude again, on this axis it's okay, so I press G just to move on the x-axis like this. Okay. Okay, seems good. After I remove the X-ray, okay, we press Shift A, mesh, and after I go to cylinder, we can put 32, and we can make align to the view. We can make the radius to 2, for example. We can reduce more because it's really small. So I press G like this, and we can reduce more, so I will put 1 and 1 like this. Okay, if we want, we can take the reference image to be sure, so I put 0.7 like this. I put G to move, and also we can reduce the depth for this. Okay, so we can put the half, and we can move. I press GX like this. Okay, and what we need to do, it's a small boolean for the middle. So here the more simple it's to go to the right view with 3. Okay, I select the screw, and we can do another one. So I press G, Shift A, and I can add another cylinder like here, align to the view. We can reduce to 6, for example. We can put the radius to 1 and the depth to 0.7. We have another cylinder here, so I will move that with G. I press, in this case it's okay, and we can reduce that, so I will just reduce to 1, 0.4 like this, and 0.3 like this to have something like this. Okay, I press G X like this. After I've got this, and I will do a boolean on that. So we can reduce the depth for 0.15, for example. I press G X to move like this, really small. I press G X to move a little bit inside, and we can do a boolean operation. To do that, I press G X to move a little bit like this. This is perfect, so we can go to the solid view like this. We can take this one. I go to the modifier, generate boolean, and I select the cylinder. If you don't see nothing, it's normal, because the other cylinder, the original, is always there, so I must remove that like this. And after, I can apply. So we can go here, we can do apply like this. I can take the cylinder, I can remove, I can take this one, and I can add a modifier for the bevel. So here we can add 0.2, for example. I press right click, shade auto smooth on this. I press 3, I go to this mode. Okay, we will duplicate the screw, so I select the screw here. We can go to the modifier, I can add the modifier, and I press array. We need 6 screw, and we can do in a circle. What I will do, I will move the center of the circle, so I will put the radius for 13.6. I can move like this the center here, almost, and we can do R. We can do R to do a rotation like this, and I can move a little bit like this. We have other methods also, but this is one method to do that. You have also the method with an empty axis, and you can do the spin around the empty axis. But here we choose the method with the circle. And we can duplicate that. So I press here, Shift D, Enter, S to scale a little bit, like this. And we can do a rotation more like this. We can scale more, and we can put here 4 like this. We can scale a little bit to have almost the same than here. After, we need to be sure that it's not inside the model, but it seems okay, like here. Okay, we can go here for the free. I go to the wireframe like this. I take the screw here. I press Shift T to make a copy, Enter, G to move, and we need to move here. I can do a ground radius is here, so it will be almost like here. And we can do a little bit scale like this too, just to be more close of the model. Okay, I will reduce just a little bit, maybe like this, of more, just to find the right balance. The G, just to move a little bit like this, to be really closer. To do a scale, just a little bit more like this. Okay, and we can put 5.2, and seems really good like this. We can go for the texturing, so I go here. I will do the black box, the plastic for the black box, so I rename that to black plastic. I have some value for the black, so we can put 0.05, 0.05 and 0.05 here. Perfect. And after, we can put the roughness to 0.6. We will put 1.45 for the plastic here. We can check here. Okay. And we can do the metal. So I go to the solid view. I press tab. I press face. And we can press Ctrl plus just to select more and more like this. Okay. And when I have got the selection here, I press new. And we can put new. And you can rename to metal. It will be something gray. So here we need also the metal. We can do another selection after. So I will change the gray here to 0.7 3 times. Okay. After for metallic, it's the metal, so it's 1. And for roughness, I can put 0.2. And here we can put more, we can put 2.5. Okay, we can check. Before we can do assign, and we can check here. Okay, and we can do the same operation for below. So I take Alt, okay, we select that. After I press Shift Alt here, okay. And I will do a new selection, so I press New here. And we can press New. We can say Metal 2. And for here, I select here and I select Metal. Put Assign after I click outside and I can see the result. I press Tab. So I select the screw here. I change to Metal. I select the screw. I change for Metal. And for the last screw, I do exactly the same here. We will do the 3-point slide. So I go to the solid view. I go here. I press Shift A. After I can add a light, so area light here. I go to the top. We can take this light with a G. We have 2 lights, but this is the area light that I want. I go to the 3, I go here. After I go here, I go for rotation on that, okay. The area, I will name that fill light. And we can put 0.3 times 800. I will do a duplication of that, Shift T. We can change the orientation like this. I press G. And this one is the key light. And it will be 400. We can take this one, Shift T, R, so we can rotate like this. I press G, R, Ctrl to F by increment. We can put like this, place the light. This light will be the backlight. We can remove shadow. I take the key light, it's the only one with the shadow, and the other, the fill light has no shadow, like this. We can add a plane, so Shift A, plane, and we can go to this view. I take all the stuff here, I press G, Z to move there. We will do like a studio, so I take the plane, I press Tab, I take the segment here, I press Extrude to the Z, like this. I take this one, I press Ctrl B to make a bevel like this, and we can put more segment like this. I press Tab, right click, shade smooth like this. Okay, and we can check the preview like here. It's a little bit strong, so I will reduce the light. I will remove the light that we have here. We don't need that. The values are too big, so I have reduced this one to 2.4, so the fill light, the key light to 4, and the backlight to 2. And we can see this nice result. And don't forget, the only light with the shadow is the key light. It seems really good. But what we can do also is to add another speaker, because there is 2 speakers. So we have the speaker, the screw. So we need to put that in one object. So I will just do a copy of that. So I will go to Object, Collection, Create New Collection, and move to Collection. So you can put New Collection here. And we can call that Speaker White, for example. You see, you've got the speaker right. Now I can do a clone of that. So I will just do a duplication of the collection here, as you can see here. And we can call that speaker left. I right click on that and we can select object. I do G and I move to the Y like this. When I've got the speaker left, we need a mirror of that. So I will do a copy of that. So I will press all the stuff here and I press Shift D because we've got already a copy. After when I've gone a duplication here, I can take the object, I can take collection, and I can move the collection to the first collection here. Okay, I can do like this, and after we go to the modifier, we need to apply the modifier. So I will remove this one, I will apply this one, I will apply this one. I will do exactly the same for the others. So I will apply this one. I will apply this one. It's the same here. So I will remove this one. I can go to apply. I can go to apply. And finally, the speaker, we can apply this. When after I've got all the modifiers applied, I can do a Ctrl G on that. So I press Ctrl G and you've got one speaker. So we can call that to speaker left. And after I can do right click, shade auto smooth on that. And we can do a mirror. So after I will add an empty object, so I will add an empty plane axis. I will take this one. I can choose the modifier and I can choose here the object for the empty 001. And after we can do the mirror. Like this, and after we can move also the distance between. I can select the empty 001, it's here. I can press G and I can press Y like this. And now we've got the mirror for the speaker. And that's it. And we have finished the tutorial. As you can see, it gives this impression. Thank you. I hope you have enjoyed the tutorial and see you for next tutorial. Bye.